Local Justice, presented by Elrod Pope Law Firm, serving our community since 1980. Here's your host, attorney Ben Leader.
Welcome to Local Justice. I'm attorney Ben Leader with the Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today's conversation is about service, sacrifice, and the kind of legacy that continues to impact a community long after a tragic moment has passed. Joining me today is Sergeant Chris Doty, a veteran law enforcement officer, a leader in our community, and someone who has dedicated his life not to just protecting others in York County, but also to honoring the life and legacy of his late twin brother, Detective Mike Doty, who was a true hero to this community in every sense of the word. Sergeant Doty, thank you so much for being here and for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a true honor and pleasure to be sitting down with you this morning. I'd love to start out by having you just tell the viewers a little bit about your background, where you grew up, where you were born and raised, and what ultimately led you to the path of pursuing a career in law enforcement. Right. So born and raised in Steel Creek. Yeah. Where'd you went to school in the Steel Creek area?
We went to a small private Christian school in Charlotte.
Okay.
That used to be the old Heritage Academy. Small school. And then Mike and I both went to the same college for a little bit up in Tennessee, and then ended up started working at Carowinds in security with a bunch of other people that now work at the sheriff's office. And I think that's what kind of got both of us into law enforcement, enjoyed interacting with people. Obviously, even at a theme park, you still had issues, right? They have security.
Sure.
So we would interact with people there, and that kind of, I think, drew both of us into wanting to see what more about law enforcement and making a difference in serving our community.
And so from Carowinds, I believe, did you start with the city of York? Is that where you?
No, Mike started with the city of York.
Okay, Mike started with the city of York.
So I started directly with the sheriff's office about 8 months before he got hired with the city of York, and he did just under a year with the city and was quietly applied and hired at the sheriff's office.
So he followed your lead to come over to the sheriff's office.
Yeah, both in law enforcement, but I was at the sheriff's office first, and then he came over.
Now I'm curious, did you have any family in law enforcement at all, or public safety, or was it really just that Carowinds experience that kind of got the juices flowing for y'all?
More Carowinds. We come from a background of military family. My grandfather was in the military. Uncle was in the military. My dad did 28 years in the military. I've got our older brother did 21 years in the Air Force. I'm still actively in the Air Force in North Carolina. Been in for 24 years. So it's more just family of service, and we found it to be beneficial to do it at the local level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your service as well on that front. And it seems that's a common theme amongst a lot of law enforcement officers I meet, is either a family tie to military history or a personal tie to military service. So yep. That's great. And so how long have you been with the York County Sheriff's Office now?
So I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 21 years, and I wouldn't trade it. I learned very quickly that the Sheriff's Office is a family, and that's why we have so many people that stay with the Sheriff's Office their entire career.
That's right. Most of the people I interview on this show have been, well over a decade there, and I see a lot of law enforcement departments from other places where it seems like there's a lot of turnover, and for whatever reason, York County seems to have a really great long-term, group of people that have spent their careers here and have chosen to stay here. What do you chalk that up to?
A lot of it has to do with the environment and culture that you create. Like I said, I learned very quickly, it's about being a family. You take care of your employees, then they'll want to stay, work harder, and do the job that you need them to do. But it's also about opportunity. For an agency our size, we have a lot of opportunities. If you want to do canine, you can do canine. If you want to do lake patrol, you can do that. You want to run a dog, we have opportunities with that. You want to work narcotics, investigations. We have a dive team, swiftwater rescue team, a SWAT team. We have grown quickly with our SRO program. Just a few years ago, we only had like 4 or 5. And I think starting by the beginning of next school year, we'll have over 24.
Wow.
Which is huge. It's not something that we used to really be heavily involved in. and now we have, like I said, roughly 24, 25 across the entire county.
And specifically, your current role now at the Sheriff's Office is in the administrative side of things, is that right?
It is. So I work within the Admin Services Division for the Admin Services Captain. Two primary things that I do is peer support, working with our sworn and non-sworn on the enforcement side. We see the worst that society has to offer, unfortunately, and that can be impactful. Both at a small or major level, and so we have learned over the years that that's something we need to make sure we focus on, and that when sometimes they just need to have a conversation with a peer. So we have 10 people within the office, including myself, that are trained in peer support. It is through SCLEAP, which is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Officers Assistance Program, which is spearheaded out of SLED by Dr. Eric Skidmore, but sometimes we find that maybe we need to have something bigger. So we can partner with SCLEAP and have them come up, provide peers, and we do what they call a critical incident debrief. Or through connections that we've made within the county internally, the fire service, EMS, and we have started to build a team locally. And so we're doing more critical incident debriefs using people within our county to support each other. So that's one of the major things that I do, and the other is that I'm the coordinator, the county coordinator for Crimestoppers. So I work with the local Crimestoppers board to be the liaison between them and the local departments, making sure that when tips come in, they get processed and followed up on, and then closed out. And then hopefully it's information that's beneficial. We're able to arrest somebody and provide a reward, an anonymous reward, to the person that provided the tip.
That's fantastic on both fronts. We've had Vince on the show before as well, and so we're familiar with Crimestoppers, big fans of that organization, and love hearing about the collaboration and between the organization and the department that leads to a lot of arrest in the community and helps keep us safe. And then on the officer wellness front, it sounds like y'all are really on the forefront of that and ensuring that we're doing everything we can to take care of our people. And that's probably part of the reason we have so many long-term employees here that with such great talents is being able to take care of them and recognize that this isn't an easy job, and there's a lot that gets processed on a day-to-day basis that's really heavy stuff. So
absolutely.
Thank you for your work in that role. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your background and kind of what led you to this point in life. And we're going to take a quick break from some of the station sponsors, and we'll be right back with more local justice with Sergeant Doty here shortly. Thank you. After a car accident, everything feels overwhelming. Your injuries, your job, the insurance companies contacting you before you even understand what happened. And you deserve someone who knows how to navigate these situations. A law firm who has handled thousands of injury cases across our region. Elrod Pope has been helping injured people for more than 45 years. If you have been hurt, call Elrod Pope. We will help you get back on your feet.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not gonna have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Being there for someone in their time of need is what Green Funeral Home has done compassionately for 4 generations. It's a privilege we take very seriously.
We believe each life should be honored and remembered by family and friends. Whether you choose traditional burial in our chapel or another venue, or cremation provided by our on-site crematory, we will help guide you through each step to ensure your needs are met.
We are also available to discuss pre-planning. Peace of mind that you have helped your loved one by making those difficult decisions.
When the need arises, our family is here for your family.
Welcome back to Local Justice. I'm Ben Leader with Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today I'm honored to be joined by Sergeant Chris Doty with the York County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you again.
We talk a lot about justice on this show and what it means to different people from all walks of life, whether it be law enforcement or attorneys, and everybody has a different sense of the meaning of that word because it's personal and it's somewhat of a vague word in the grand scheme of things. And you've been through so much over the last 6 years as it relates to the loss of your brother, from the incident itself to the outpouring of support in the community to ultimately seeing the person responsible for that sentenced to life without parole. And I would love to hear, just in your own words, what does the word justice mean to you personally?
That's honestly, it's something I've thought about a lot, not just over the last 6 years, but over the last 21 years of my career. Justice is about getting just that, justice for victims when they are affected by crime. But it's not just victim, it's witness, it's suspect. But at the same time, with justice comes the need for grace sometimes. Sometimes a little bit of grace can be just as good or just as beneficial and helpful as getting a victim restitution for loss of property, or getting a sentence for someone that was did a horrible crime. So I think justice and grace kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
That's fascinating perspective, and I know one of the things Mike was extremely passionate about, and one of the things you're passionate about is helping those that are suffering from substance abuse and drug addiction, and really, in a way, giving them a second chance and helping rebuild that life. And when I hear the word grace, I immediately thought of that as that, part of what he was very passionate about was, helping people get back on the right track, and maybe not necessarily focusing on the sentence as much as the, the recovery or second chance. Is that fair?
That is, absolutely. Mike was, it was important to Mike that people knew. Mike worked in narcotics, and oftentimes you deal with people repetitively,
sure,
right? Because it's a horrible disease that takes time to get out of. So like I said, oftentimes you see the same person over and over and over. Mike wanted people to know that simply because they were affected by substance abuse and drugs or alcohol, whatever it may be, they still meant something to someone. So that's why Mike was a huge part of getting Narcan program here within York County, to make sure that if we need to use it, law enforcement has the ability to save a life. And countless lives have been saved because of the Narcan program, from the state through Keystone, the local distributor of that, in partnership with the state. So it's been a huge impact.
Absolutely, and we've had Sheriff Breeden on the show before, and he's talked about how he could not even begin to think about the loss of life that would be, wreaking havoc on the community if we didn't have Narcan, and the frequency that EMS or that you guys have to administer that is shocking, and I don't think a lot of people realize how many lives that saves behind the scenes, and to know that Mike was such a big part of that, push for that is really special. And on a personal note for you, having gone through what you went through, to make the decision to come back to work, to stand alongside your brothers in blue, when I think it would have been perfectly understandable for you to choose a different path, after the trauma that you went through with the loss of Mike. What was it that made you want to come back and, still be here today?
I can tell you it wasn't easy. I go back to the events of that night, the phone calls, the officer showed up at my house and escorting me and my wife to the hospital, meeting with my family, walking through there, to eventually standing in the hallway, talking to what seemed like hundreds of people from our agency and other agencies, their wives, their girlfriends, their kids, and seeing the support of them, not just for Mike, but for me and our family. And that continues to this day. So that was a huge part of hey, this, again, like I said earlier, the sheriff's office is a family. But with that, I think to an extent, because multiple people told me, 6 months, a year later, we figured you'd leave. Mm-hmm. And I certainly wouldn't have stayed if I didn't have the support of my parents, my wife, my extended family. But I think another reason was I didn't want to give another victory to somebody that didn't deserve it. It helped me keep going. Has it been easy? No. There's been struggles. I'm human, right?
Sure.
But I didn't want somebody else to be able to get a victory.
Absolutely. Well, I respect and commend so much about that mindset that you have, and it sounds like the love and support, is as genuine and authentic as you could find. And a lot of businesses claim to be a family or claim to have a family atmosphere, but there's words on the wall, and then there's seeing it firsthand. And it sounds like you really saw it firsthand, and it continues to be a huge component of who you are and why you're there. Is there's so much love and support for you, your family, and for Mike's legacy.
Absolutely.
Well, Sergeant, thank you so much for those answers and your transparency. I know this isn't easy to talk about to this day, but really appreciate your insight and giving the viewers a little bit of an insight of who Mike is and what you and your family have been through and how you've ultimately turned this into as positive of a situation as you can from it. So thank you for your transparency, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in. We're going to take another quick break from the station sponsors, and we'll be right back with more local justice with Sergeant Doty here shortly. Thank you. I wish everyone came with a warning label, because if you could predict a car accident, you would probably stay home that day. But accidents are never planned, and the moments after are confusing. You don't need a warning label. You need a law firm who knows how to handle this. A law firm who has helped people in South Carolina through injury cases for decades. If you've been hurt, call Elrod Pope. We'll help you understand your options and get moving in the right direction.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not gonna have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
When a catastrophe hits, it can be a very stressful time for you. When you have trees on your house, when you have trees on your cars, and you don't know what to do, you call us.
We're not a 1-800 number, we're an 803 number. We've been in business for over 60 years because we take care of our clients. That means taking care of them during claim situations.
We're not 9 to 5, we're 24/7. We're gonna be there when you need us most. Gill Insurance, your local auto owner's agent. Understanding business is how we do business.
This is Mike Martosha with the St. Philip Neri Catholic Church Italian Festival in Fort Mill, where you'll find the largest Italian festival in the area. Annually, we have homemade sausages, meatballs, lasagna, eggplant parmesan, pizza, and all kinds of live entertainment, a music stage, wine tastings, as well as 60 vendors and artists and booths. For more details, www.spnitalianfestival.com.
Welcome back to Local Justice. I'm attorney Ben Leader with the Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today I'm honored to be joined by Sergeant Doty with the York County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant, thank you again for your time today. Really appreciate you joining us. One of the things that I've admired most about you and your family throughout this tragedy is how y'all gone above and beyond to honor Mike's legacy and to really allow his legacy to help so many others in our community, other officers, other youth attending college, There's so many great things that y'all have done and are continuing to do to honor his legacy. I want to talk a little bit about the Sheriff's Foundation of York County, because I know that's a foundation that's a central part of that mission, and that's the foundation that hosts the Brothers in Blue clay shoot now, which is coming up right around the corner. And so tell us a little bit about the Sheriff's Foundation and the different type of work they do.
Okay. So the Sheriff's Foundation was started under Bruce Bryant in roughly 2007, 2008. And two main things that it was started for was to support employees of the office through different avenues. And then the other big thing was scholarships. And those scholarships are both for children of employees of the office, but also local students through all 4 school districts who want to go into a career of service. For local students, not employees, children, it has to be, their topic of study has to be related to law enforcement or public service. Nursing, forensic nursing, law enforcement, computer forensics, anything that can be tied back to law enforcement. And then if the other portion of it, the other side is if you're a child of a employee, you apply, you still do the same process, but your topic of study can be anything. It doesn't have to be directly related to law enforcement.
That's fantastic. So local scholarship opportunities for children of law enforcement personnel or for anybody that's interested in a public safety related field of some sort.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
We just this year started to where originally you get it and it's a one-time gift of $2,000. Now you're able to come back a second year and get another $1,000. $3,000 may not be a lot, but it may be a difference maker.
Absolutely.
When $3,000 is a lot for somebody that's going to York Tech. But $3,000 is certainly still helpful for somebody that's going to Clemson or USC or anywhere else.
Absolutely, every little bit helps. Well, that's fantastic. And my understanding is over the years there's been hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of scholarships that have been provided through this.
Absolutely. So this year we just went through the process and approved this year's scholarship applicants. And it was a little over $30,000.
Wow.
But I confirmed yesterday before I left the office that since 2007, the Sheriff's Foundation has given over $330,000 to local students to be able to go on into secondary education, which is huge. But it's also not something we did by ourselves. The Sheriff's Foundation hosts a golf tournament every October at Springfield Golf Course in Fort Mill, which is the main source of revenue with partnerships and relationships that have been created both with local people within the community, but also local businesses that allow us to continue to be able to make a difference locally. And I think it's goes back to what we talked about earlier about the Sheriff's Office being a family. If we are good members of the community, and that's a positive way for us to have impact and interaction with local community when we're being helpful.
Absolutely.
So this is a huge part of allowing us to be able to make a difference.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, that's well over 100 local students that have received scholarship funds, through this effort. So, I mean, that's huge. And then the other half of the coin on the organization, I think, also supports officers. Is that correct?
That's correct. So after Mike passed away, anytime a tragedy like that happens, donations are gathered. And when our family received the donated funds, we had no need. And so we were like, what can we do to make a difference, remember Mike, and allow him to continue to be impactful? And one of those ways was we went to the Sheriff's Foundation and we used $85,000 to set up an officer assistance fund named in honor of Mike. And we've been able to help officers within York County, employees of the office. We've helped employees of the county. We have helped officers within Rock Hill, Charlotte, other sheriff's offices throughout the state of South Carolina. Every time we get a form, the sheriff and I look at it, confirm that we're good with it, and we're able to get the check fairly quickly and get that money to the officer or their family. And oftentimes it's before they're able to get workers' comp or insurance money or any other stuff, because we're local. We can do it so much quicker. But we don't do social media posts. We don't do any of that stuff. It's about us being able to remember Mike and make a difference. And since, like I said, we started with $85,000, and to date we've given over $130,000. Wow. And one of the ways that we're able to keep that going is the Brothers in Blue clay shoot.
That is a fantastic way of honoring his legacy, and I love that y'all do it quietly, behind the scenes, not looking for publicity from it, but truly out of the goodwill to help these other officers and their families. And so that is so special and so unique, and I know that's something you're really proud of. And so for the viewers out there, if you can attend the clay shoot, great. If you can sponsor a team out there, great. Same with the golf tournament, but anybody can donate to the Sheriff's Foundation at any point in time. Is that right?
That's correct. If you go to a simple Google search for Sheriff's Foundation of York County will bring you to the exact page on the Sheriff's Office website where it talks about the golf tournament in October. It talks about the clay shoot that's coming up a week from tomorrow down at Rocky Creek Sporting Clays in Chester. Always looking for team sponsorships. So far this year we have 39 teams, 25 in the morning and 14 in the afternoon. So if you want to come out, sponsor a team, and shoot sporting clays on May 8th, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, please look up the website. We also have a huge part of that too is silent auctions. So we have a very good silent auction selection. That's, like I said, it's a huge fundraiser for us. So always appreciative of the people that come out, the business partnerships that participate, that allow us to continue at the Sheriff's Foundation to continue to make a difference and remember one of our own.
That is fantastic. To the viewers out there, strongly encourage everyone to consider making a contribution to this cause. I think there's few better ways to support our local officers than helping them in time of need, and this organization is perfect for that. So thank you for joining us, Sergeant. Really appreciate your time today, your insights and your leadership, and the way you continue to honor your brother's legacy really is special. So we appreciate all that you do for York County and helping keep us all safe out there, and as well as all your brothers in blue. So thank you all, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another episode of Local Justice. Please stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. So when a client first comes into our office, they're dealing with very painful injuries. They're trying to provide for their families at the same time. You can just see the sense of anxiety, the grief, the worry on their face as soon as they walk in the door. One of the first things we do is we try to alleviate that concern and take that weight off their shoulder and put it on our plate. We see people immediately leave here from the first consultation. I can already see a sense of relief because they know that they've got a team helping them now, and it's no longer just their problem.
Brown's Roofing began in 1989 with just a truck, a trailer, and a mission to do things the right way. What started as one man hand-nailing shingles has grown into a trusted name across South Carolina and North Carolina. At Brown's Roofing, we believe in honest work, fair pricing, and a quality that lasts. If we wouldn't allow it on our mother's home, we won't allow it on yours. With Brown's Roofing, you're not just getting a roof, you're getting our word.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.